Neil, there you have it. I mean, you could listen to Supreme Court arguments for a very, very long time and not have someone admit guilt so clearly.
Yeah, Lawrence, I mean, the fundamental question that has to be asked about the Republican Party, which this lawyer represents, is, why is this party so afraid of voters? I mean, even 15 years ago, Republicans weren't as scared. The Voting Rights Act was passed in 2006 unanimously in the Senate, 98-0. And now you have a party that, when they're not pushing gerrymandering and the big lie, they're pushing bill after bill to try and restrict people from voting. More than 100 bills, Lawrence, have been introduced just since November. And I just really wish Republicans brought the same energy, to, I don't know, fighting the coronavirus as they do to depriving people of the right to vote.
Let's listen to what Justice Sonia Sotomayor said today about denial of the right to vote.
If you just can't vote for those reasons and your vote is not being counted, you've been denied the right to vote, haven't you?
I don't think anyone would say you've been denied a due process right to a hearing.
This is not a due process. This is not a due process claim.
No, I'm trying to get at the distinction between denial and.
Well, no, you're denied something if you're not given the right to vote or results in your denial from circumstances that the state could remedy easily.
Neil, denial of the right to vote by to people who are legally registered to vote is what these laws are all about.
100%, Lawrence. And Congress in 1965 passed the Voting Rights Act to deal with this in two different ways. One was to say any bill that passes into law in one of the states that had discriminated in the past couldn't get through, couldn't take effect unless the Justice Department or a court said it didn't discriminate. That piece of the law was struck down in 2013 by the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision called Shelby County. That was the thing that really protected us. Then there was this other part, Section 2, which allows you to sue after the election, basically, for a deprivation of the right to vote. And that's what the issue was in today's hearing. And, I think you just heard the lawyer for the Republicans basically say, this law should basically have no teeth to it. And that ran into hot water from even the conservatives on the court. I think everyone acknowledged that what the Republicans were saying was contrary to the plain text of the law. He had a better argument when it comes to these specific Arizona laws. And so, he may win the individual case at hand, but what he was doing was really going for broke and trying to nullify the Voting Rights Act. And that didn't go over so well at the court.
We see in our time, Stacey Abrams today carrying on the work of Vernon Jordan, of Medgar Evers, and we had a reason to believe back when the Voting Rights Act was first passed that so much of the work this was an achievement. This was done. The concept of reversal from that was inconceivable at the time.
And Lawrence, there's one name you didn't mention, and I'm sure it was in the front of your mind as well. And that's John Lewis. And right now, pending in Congress is the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, which would create a new pre-clearance regime, that regime I was telling you about that the Supreme Court got rid of in 2013. And darn it, we need it. And this was something that Republicans and Democrats united hand in hand. I mean, James Sensenbrenner, very Republican member from Wisconsin, was the leader of this. And, we have to get back to that and understand that there's nothing more important to an American than their right to vote. And right now it's being deprived. And that law has to be passed regardless of what happens in the Supreme Court case.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.